right in the heart with a silver bullet.
Yeah. I think they plotting on me. Don't wipe their feet when they enter the L.A.R. I feel a cold stare. Think I ain't looking. Maybe because I'm focused. No hands out for the hopeless. Funny bullets, I caught some shots. Another piece of the puzzle connecting dots. You can find the truth of laughter and liquor. One more shot to an empty bottle. If you don't walk there like a model for me, like I don't see her intentions all in my scope. At a time we were just friends, with advice to land. Nothing special, I was dead broke, but we still got hope. Don't take my words, just pack the issue that raw dough. Just pack the issue that raw dough. Pack the issue that raw dough. To the people that listen to my people, they know that I do care. With their hands in the air, rocking side to side. Now my work, yeah, it's time to ride. Where my niggas at? My niggas ain't my niggas no more. Push me to the back, label to change up his swag. I do it for us, I'm pro-black. Don't rock it the shit get. Wouldn't be so all type of African shit. Just rock a table fade, swagger tailor-made. Polo cornrows and fly kicks. Just polo cornrows and fly kicks. Exclusive shit, not get wet. Keep it coming, just don't stop. The revolution starts with shot.
I'm respectful to my people, and I want to represent my people, and I don't want to be a bad representative. I can't be blind, as the blind lead the blind, they all follow the good.
Now my mama said, baby, act like you got sense. They act like I only act right for Lent. Been living in purgatory, but I'm nosing for heaven. Not sure if I'm getting in, cause I ain't paid a reference. Who looking at me when I ain't looking, judging my character? I can't put down my guard on this planet, packing the camera. Ready for my close-up, the lens gets bigger. Won't play me on BET, cause I am not a nigga. My heart is like a powder keg, ready to explode. Smell like strange food, cause I'm America's cologne. It started with the hello, think you're a nice fellow. You're ballin' like Carmelo, you treat you like Othello. L.A.R. we the stars, turn a rapper to a prophet. Bulletproof 306, keep your hands in your pocket. Jordan rules for my life, you contain them, can't stop them. I'm niggas sky high, so the clouds can't drop them. My life is like a miracle, my words are just imperial. I'm edible, I'm audible, I'm digital, I'm visual. Spit like Komodo, go like Bruce Lee, Roy B, and the mean as bad as Mofo in the dojo. Life is so amazing and raps like Jesus. They said hip-hop is dead, but today look like Easter.
Now I wake up in the morning, I'm black and handsome as ever. However, you see me as strange fruit, will it ever happen, not again. A crook and just a homicide, he know it's self-defense. But since I'm black and since he white, he got no common sense. That's 1969, and he ain't Jesus Christ. He ain't coming back on Easter, he ain't got a second life. You know I'm right? Hold up, look. Now the sirens in my window here, pull it over. License and registration, gun ain't never in the holster. Plus, that man black too, he wanna act too. A nigga with an attitude and a badge too. A couple tattoos, hoping I act a fool so he can squeeze too. But it ain't nothing different, they the same thing. They pull him over, he gon' get the same thing. Maybe 2 up in his brain, 21 gun salute. Last words was I'm a copy, last heard fuck you. And he ain't coming back, you know I'm black like Jesus. But I ain't coming back for Easter, y'all say goodbye. Everybody cry, second line. But when the music stop, move on. Cause I ain't coming home, they know I'm black like Jesus. But I ain't coming back for Easter, everybody cry. Y'all say goodbye, second line. But when the music stop, move on. Cause I ain't coming home, I'm gone. And now she on welfare. Lost here, daddy can't live there. So we ain't there, and life ain't fair. But the food free, and the rent cheap. His roaches where you sleep. He still came around and taught you baseball. Bought a Barbie doll, he raised all of y'all. And now the kids adults, they both up in the court. She want that child support, he on that child support. But he ain't never taught him baseball, and she ain't never bought him Barbie dolls. They both never there, no, never, not at all. Saying, well, pull your pants up, go while your ass out. They looking back saying, why, y'all ain't never in the house. You got it backwards, don't you? I'm saying, cause we still preaching unity. And it's supposed to be family first in community. Got in church to $1 for your blessing. We made in God's image, thinking with Saint's mind. They got us crossed up, now Judas is Caesar. America bury me, but I ain't coming back for Easter. Yeah, they know I'm black like Jesus. But I ain't coming back for Easter, y'all say goodbye. Everybody cry, second line. But when the music stop, move on. Cause I ain't coming home, they know I'm black like Jesus. But I ain't coming back for each and everybody cry. Y'all say goodbye, second line. But when the music stop, move on. Cause I ain't coming home, I'm gone.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement, still moving. Subscribe to Die Try, and this is my radio flu voice, DJ L.A.R. coming at you with the quiet storm. So, as you can see by the thumbnail, right? Let's talk about, are you ready for financial polygamy? I was just online looking at stuff because I ain't had nothing to do because I've been sick for the last 4 days. And I just saw Black polygamy come up on Instagram feed. And I was thinking about polygamy before a while back. And this keeps coming up. Excuse me, I got to get some water and whatnot. Shout out to my man Solo TV84. We talked about that offline recently, where because of the cost of living, inflation, rent, people want to live in major metropolitan cities in America. You got this thing where you're seeing more and more people online open to polygamy. Now, in my opinion, people have been financially polygamous for a minute, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean. That's what child support and alimony and spousal support is. That's usually a mother or ex-wife who, because the money normally isn't used for the child, they're just getting another man's money, their ex's money, to help them with their current lifestyle, and they getting extra from the guy they're dating, right, or with, and sometimes married. But in these coming days, what's going on, Doc? I see you keep going, bro. Get to 100,000. Get to 100,000. But in these days, you wind up seeing, because I got friends everywhere, male and female. There are more adults nowadays in their mid-20s and up who have roommates, especially female. They have roommates. You have more people who are in couples, right? Because of, they may like each other or love each other, but, that 50-50 relationship, I don't want it. They're lying when they're saying that, because the rent is so high. If you're paying $1,800 a month, $1,600 a month for one bedroom, and you wind up paying, $18 for a 2-bedroom or $2,000 for a 2-bedroom, you'll take that deal, because it's gonna it's gonna be less money out of your pocket. But another thing that this has excuse me, man, I'm sick. Another thing this has done is, what about the people who became homeowners 5, 10, 15 years ago? See, they're paying less in a mortgage than most people are paying for rent. And what are women willing to do? Move in. And some of these women are women who like to be with women. You get what I'm saying? Because we don't talk about how even in the rainbow community, excuse me, it's hard for a woman to be a provider and a protector. Because if you're gonna have a polygamous relationship, somebody's gonna have to go both ways, right? So because of that, people are making these financial decisions based around sex. Now, some people are suckers for sex in a sense of they'll do anything. They're willing to compromise anything to get. Hey, man, if I can get 2 chicks, man, hey, man, that's the deal. Maybe, maybe not. That depends on what they're actually bringing to the table. 3 people mean 3 cars. 3 people, 9 times out of 10, let's just say, but an average, 3 people mean 3 kids. One, you got one, both of them got one. But the thing is that you're probably as a guy, going to be paying child support for yours, and they're going to be receiving child support for theirs. But at the same time, they can't afford to be on their own. So what do you think is going to happen? And a lot of people don't get it that, what's going to happen is you're going to see more and more people, quote unquote, coupling up. What do you think all of this OnlyFans, all of this Instagram, IG flying out, you think they just starting for nothing? You think they're not open to they may not be open to being wives. A lot of these chicks are side pieces. If you put 2 side pieces together, there you go. You got a whole side sandwich. But people act like, oh no, that's not true. Actually, it is. Excuse me for a second. I got to blow my nose. Sorry about that. Man, I do. I'm sick all week. But that's what's going on. At the end of the day, we're going to have a discussion about, all of this advertisement for sex. It's not for anything. Like, I've seen more women, especially sisters, and we've talked about this years ago. Excuse me. Sisters wasn't going into the gym. They weren't working out like that. But now you see online more and more sisters in shape. It's in the best shape of their lives, looking good in their 20s, 30s, 40s. And though if you go down that algorithm, you're going to see more of those chicks. But look at how they, even in social media and online, and even when you go out in public, how many ladies are open to the idea of another woman. See, like Solo was talking about it, and I talked about it too. There's gonna come a point where, ladies are gonna be like, man, does he have his own stuff? Man, I mean, I could do this, you could do that, da 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 da. They make deals on their own. You hear BGS talking about, ladies making deals. You heard him talk about that for a long time. And to me, we're going into quote unquote 2023, and you're seeing what's going on, right? I hate it when this stuff happens, man. There we go. But it's one of those things where you got people over and over and over and over and over again looking at it. You got people in high school who unfortunately, and I had to find this out with my son, you're having more of these young girls who are without shame about being sexually promiscuous. They don't care about getting caught doing a bunch of stuff that is just extra. And then you got the girls in college who kind of half in and half out. But more importantly, you got the ladies who are out of college, who got their financial loans. Because with sisters having, what's up, Bucket? With sisters having this student loan debt hovering over their heads, how they gonna get out of it? They need some type of financial break. And what you're gonna see is more and more ladies open to a relationship just for the bill's sake. Now, am I saying that they're going to be wholeheartedly with polygamy? No. So, some of them are just going to be there for the money or the financial benefits. And I got to mention this, we're not going to talk about the people who are not paying child support anymore. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. So we got to talk about that part where people are running out of child support and they're running out of ideas. The kids are turning 15, 16, 17, 18. And, kids aren't going to college as much for whatever reason. And it's stopping at 18, and now what you going to do? That's where this whole BBL argument from and this flying abroad, is coming from. Oh man, that's too many, man. I'm good with one, but Lord, 7 is crazy. But we got this whole thing going on. And then we got to talk about this, the downside, or not the downside, but the fallout of looking for a quote unquote high value man. Because all the ladies who are looking for a high value man, all of them weren't being honest. They weren't being honest, and what I mean by that is, what's up, Mrs. Z? They weren't being honest in the fact that they wanted a man who made, there's a bulk of them, a chunk of them that want a man to make a certain amount of money to take care of her while she fixes her financial situation. And the issue with that is that nobody dug down into the chunk of those women that are willing to be, or who are open to be number one, number two, and number three. You know what I'm saying? Because they're getting their quote unquote need met. And a lot of this stuff is not about sex per se. It's the trade-off. And that trade-off for some people are willing to actually have sex for the trade-off. Or some people are willing to bring people along to have sex for them for the trade-off. So a lot of y'all, you're going to see how things change relatively quickly. Because, excuse me, y'all, if you go out, you see, if you go out enough, you're going to wind up running into a lot of people, especially ladies, who have friends that like their girlfriends, and their girlfriends, for some odd reason, they all say they like men, but when you get them together, they operate as though they like each other too. And if you got a quote unquote baller coming into the mix, they're willing to double up and triple up to shoot their shot at the same time simultaneously. And you're gonna see less and less ballers or upper class rich guys moving in the circles where they can be found. They move differently already. They're hard to find already. And so what's going to happen is, say, the blue collar guys who make a good amount of money, I would say maybe 70 and up, you get what I'm saying, who can be looked at as financially disciplined or astute, or their life and lifestyle can actually fit other people in it. You're going to see those guys have an influx of people, of ladies who are like, hey, I remember, because because it's just the need for it is just so high. The need for it is so high. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna get worse. I appreciate you. I'm gonna get some tea. I got some tequila and some Gatorade and some water right here. I just had to get up off my butt and do something, that's all. But we got to get into the bulk of this in a second, where this is not going to be pretty, but the issue isn't the availability of the opportunity of polygamy. The issue is guys are really slow to ask for it, to pull the trigger and say, you know what about you and you? Like, can we bring somebody else into the fold? That's gonna be the thing. Like, because guys are used to cheating. That's what the guys are normally used to. Acting like I'm in love with you, baby. You're the only one. And then they're out there skedaddling in the streets, right? They're used to that and getting caught up. The flat out honesty of it is going to be like, what about this, and this? And a lot of guys are probably going to be willing to shoot that shot to say it because of one thing. All the signs are there. A lot of y'all ladies don't get it, but all the excessive tattoos, the nose rings, the hair dye, the need to be, to be a city girl or have a hot girl, whatever. And have that stripper mindset. Whether because you see people working online, you see people working online. They're on they're on Instagram. They have their uniform, working. We nurses, lawyers, doctors, realtors, real estate agents rather. Police officers, and who else? Military women, postal workers. You see them dancing and twerking, and look at me, and it's like, well, you gotta ask yourself. Okay, since you putting yourself out there like this, what is this for? This ain't looking for necessarily a husband. You know what I'm saying? So what are you looking for? I forgot who had it on the short. Maybe it was Angry Man or something. And he's like, he had a lady that was talking there, and she said they're looking for a husband, not a husband. And a lot of times you don't necessarily have to be the bank now. All you have to be is stability. And stability is going to go a long way, because a lot of people the economy is so, I shouldn't say the economy, but inflation is so bad, it's going to be, stability is going to be a hard thing to find. Think about the people who want to work from home but can't. Think about the gas people spend going back and forth to work. Depending on people, if they have to have tolls, depending on the people who have to, maybe they eat out, they eat out on a regular basis. People don't cook. People get home, leave early and get home late. They're willing to do extra things to deal with it. And some people, it's just, I'm gonna say this is flat out of loneliness. Some people have got to that point where I ain't got nobody. I'd rather have somebody. I have a piece of somebody than nothing, because some people got to that I'll be by myself stage so long that, excuse me, that's not where they want to be. And that becomes a problem. Hold on one second. But, excuse me for that. So what's going to wind up happening is you're going to see people do a little bit more. For real. So you're going to see this. You're going to see the guys who, if this guy has if a guy has a 2-bedroom apartment or a townhome or a condo, like 2-3 bedroom condo, or a house, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, you're gonna see how people gonna look like, well, and watch what hear me out when I say this, because it's one thing I've seen more young women working, like UPS, Amazon, post office. I used to see a lot of women working in like medical field, like medical sales. They're coming there with the like rolling briefcase and their skirts on. And I saw a lot of women who were in sales. But now I'm seeing a lot of women who are in, what would you call it, logistics. And don't get it twisted. Though they have long days, and they're gonna be looking for somebody, man. If I do this and I come home and I gotta do all this, What if me and my homegirl, who we real cool, what if we got together and we got with somebody? That'll be a cool thing because we cool, and if he could be cool, da 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 da. I know y'all don't see it now. Some of y'all don't see it now, but that's how it's going. That is literally where it's hitting. Because and polygamy used to be one of those things where it was the women's choice anyways. So part of the feminism and equality thing is, they're going to be making these choices for themselves. See? So working these jobs, some people doing odd jobs, some people doing this, some people doing that, and you're seeing it now, because I would say, what do you call that? Like the bottle girls, I don't really go out to the restaurants like Hooters or Bombshells or Twin Peaks. I forgot the other one, Chula's and all that. I know there's girls always working there, but I was at a walk-ons. They dress code is more professional than the ones I named, but I would say that I see, and I don't go out as much, and I don't think people go out as much anyways. So I don't see the girls who could moonlight as a bottle girl on the weekend anymore. Onyx, oh my God. That's cold. But I used to know people who would have a day job and would work as a bartender at a strip club. You know what I'm saying? I see less and less of that because I guess it's less and less people are going there. Oh man, here we go. Hold on, let me blow my nose again. My bad. But you see less and less of that. All the girls trips, they're starting to kind of wind down. Because ultimately, the trips get old. And we used to talk about this all the time, how the trips get old on the girls' trips, because, women get tired of paying for their crazy friend or the roommate situation, this, that, and the third. So, marriage is like guys have been saying, it's a bad deal. But I think one of the ways guys are going to get out of quote unquote marriage, even if they find the one, they're going to try polygamy, because that way you don't necessarily have to get married. But at the same time, you're going to be responsible for more than one person. Now, the financial part is where all this stems from, because initially, excuse me, because men doing a lot of, woo, that's crazy. So you're gonna have these guys who back in the day, they were like, you got to afford having multiple women, but now you're gonna have to afford having the situation that multiple people can live in. And that's going to be interesting. Now, the weird thing about it is, I don't think this is going to be necessarily a young thing. I really don't. I don't think this is going to be a thing where it's going to be girls in their 20s, 27 and under going to be doing. But I would say like 29 and up, yeah. Because especially for people who started having sex early and who had kids early, they may be in their late 30s, early 40s, and their kids might be almost grown. So that's going to be that market. And a lot of, it's not going to be the hot chicks or the hottest of the hot. Because I will say this. Part of the reason I'm talking about this is, I remember not too long ago, maybe a few years back, before the pandemic, I would go out and I would see people, and you would see these hot, very attractive women you would think they're single until their boyfriend pull up. And then the boyfriend pull up and it seems like a, regular old working Joe, nice car, blah, blah, blah. Brady Bunch, yeah, but more like Three's Company. More like Three's Company. You know what I'm saying? That's more like, Three's Company. But they probably gonna all have kids. So what wound up happening is what wound up happening is I'll go out and I would see attractive women, and they have a boyfriend that's a working Joe or whatever, and she's super attractive. He's and the reason why I bring that up is because it would look like she had a type before she met him, and he just wound up being a guy that, after all the types didn't work out, that it was good to her, so she chose him, quote unquote, settling, whatever. So, but those guys and those ladies have options. And, a lot of times when you see the guys, and I hate to say it like this, but for the guys who will be, like, when you see the polygamy thing, you see a lot of pro-black guys, beards and dreads, like who play that game where I got her, yeah. It ain't gonna be them type of guys, because normally those guys, they really don't handle business like that. They're in it for the sex, but they can't provide for themselves. They're usually living off the women. Hate to say it, but that's how it goes normally. I'm talking about guys who are people who are consistent, disciplined, 9 to 5, working overtime type of people who, been married or been divorced or been in a bunch of relationships, had kids, and now it's like, hey, listen, you know what? I'm gonna just do me. And you're seeing how, people felt like they want to be free. And part of this freedom is going to wind up, you have to afford to be free. And freedom ain't gonna be cheap. It's not as cheap as it once was. So we're gonna have an issue. Yeah. So that's gonna be the issue right there. So now we gotta take it there. Because what you're gonna wind up seeing a lot, because it's a financial situation. People, and I'm gonna tell you now, like when you get, like I'm in my 40s, you sit there and you think about it, like, man, do I really want to be working to if I can make it to my 60s and 70s, do I still want to be working? Do it like really? Do I want to get up and just bust my butt every day and this, that, or third? And, most people don't. People are falling apart. People want to spend time with their family, and that's a whole other thing. Like, you don't see family connection like you used to see it. Like, people don't have family like they used to. I know people got brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and parents and all that, but the closeness ain't there like it once was. It ain't there like it once was. So now it's getting to that point where you don't really have a family you don't necessarily have a family to talk to, in the sense of somebody go, look, man, don't do that. Like, we don't approve of that, because the people ain't around. Or sometimes it's like, well, go for it. Hey, you got family members who have been burned by doing it, quote unquote, the right way. And then they're like, you know what? Do that. Don't do that. So that's where we going. And not to mention, you have people who are drains, who have been drained in the family because of their laziness. People who are always coming back home, eating up all the free food, all the greens, all the hog maws, all the pig feet. Those people who need family to always help them and bail them out. And, like dads used to, and families used to love for somebody to marry their daughter, because, like, I'm tired of taking care of this girl. Like, now you're going to get to the point where it's like, hey, you know what? Well, I really want you to marry her, but I ain't gonna lie, you take it off our hands. You're not treating her bad. She grown. Da 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 da. I know girls that is now who knew there was like think about all the people that knew that there was another woman, and they weren't going anywhere. And so now it's just and nowadays people know about each other. Some people are spending time arguing on over social media about it, but please, there we go. Exactly. That price is high. Give me 1 second. So if the median price is 430,000, think about that. Atlanta used to be the land of milk and honey. Now it's just Jacker Central, right? Jackers and sugar mamas, and they running out of people to take care of because they don't want to take care of these quote unquote Madden Kings. Tommy Sotomayor used to talk about, right? So think about all the men who got it together in Miami, in New York, in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in the Bay, in Houston, in Dallas, Nashville, Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Cincinnati, Cleveland, like Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Boston. Like, where would you rather be? Would you rather take your chances on being single? Because people are having to learn the hard way. They thought they have infinite amount of options, and they don't. And some people, truth be told, some people will do it just out of sheer convenience, because you get a lot of people who are experimenting. They like just a bucket list thing. Some people want it to be, you see all these ladies who are all on their femininity and energy, and now it's a soft girl era, and now playing with moon rocks or whatever, doing what do you call that? Astrology and what's your sign? All that prime for polygamy, just prime for polygamy. Because it's like, I'll give it a shot. And though they say, oh, I won't do this and I won't do that, usually they're lying, because when you ask them about a certain amount of money per year, they bend their rules. And I'm just saying, at this point, the rules are about to get bent real heavily. Because at the end of the day, people are going to be hurting. People are hurting right now. People are hurting right now. Think about that. Think about how many people are going through it. People are depressed. People need pets from companionship and anxiety, and to get through their issues. Less people are having hobbies. You see people looking for likes on social media, and some people might just do it for actual, don't be surprised you wind up seeing polygamy used as a marketing tool on social media, like a polygamous channel. Like, hey, not like your boy. I remember the dude that was in the woods and whatnot, and that just went crazy. I'm just talking about a whole regular relationship, none of the shenanigans, Well, see, telling me and Romeo ain't never been friends, right? But that's happening more and more, more and more and more. And it's, people make fun of Nick Cannon, and I see why. He got a new baby every week. But don't think that out of those 12 chicks, don't think 3 or 4 of them wouldn't just, you know what, Nick? We got a kid together. We could just make it work. You got a big old house. You got a mansion. We could all have a room, and and we could raise these kids together. Don't think that. Don't think that that won't happen. But that's for somebody who just had kids. You got to think about what is the young lady like with the Brittany Renners? Brittany, don't be surprised if she saw the thing. Like, look at how Nicki Minaj situation is turning out. What was the other lady? Because they had Nicki Minaj. They got the girl Spice or whatever. They got all the ladies on Love and Hip Hop, and you see how some of them go from dating men and being cheated over men to dating women, then to dating men and having kids with men, and you see this back and forth because everybody's not necessarily married. Thank you, appreciate that. You're gonna manifest all that stuff, but but you're gonna wind up in that situation where now we're gonna play this. You're gonna play this game with yourself, and the game is gonna basically be, yo, I need food. Like, if you're a guy right now, and I don't even care if you're living, if you're staying above water and you're doing okay, and this is holiday season, right? Y'all don't realize, like, if you go fry turkey, if you can make some potato salad, or do any kind of those cooking type of things, excuse me, do you know how far ahead of you are? Like, if you could actually cook for yourself, it's a whole nother ball game. And because a lot of ladies can't cook, a lot of ladies like Uber Eats out to eat. Like, one of my good friends, man, shout out to Mo. He was saying, you know what black people spend the most money on right now? I was like, what? He says, food. Like, a lot of our expenses are, eating out, Uber Eats, fast food, like $7 here, $10 there, $9 here, $45 here, $35 here. A lot of our money goes that way. So if you find a person, if you can X that out of the equation, you don't really know how. You don't really know how much you can. Like, people will go, oh, look, I'd rather rock with you. You know what I'm saying? If you got any type of skill, like if you good with your hands, whether it's carpentry or anything, you know what I'm saying? Basically, because back in the day, you would be the guy that was in the friend zone. The friend zone, what I'm saying is the friend zone guy that knew how to cook or fix cars or do woodwork. Not that kind of woodwork, but you know what I'm saying? Like, make tables and chairs and whatnot, and do carpentry, or to do some electrical work. I don't care if it was putting in putting up a ceiling fan or a light fixture or a doorbell or whatever. And even those little things, right? If you could do a little bit of plumbing, that was the friend that you always called, and your friends told your other friends, and he was basically the cruise errand boy. Well, what I'm saying is the cruise errand boy is going to get that call. Like, you know what? How about we roll with you? So now we got to get there. And for some of these people that they want to be able to afford their trips and their lifestyle, well, to afford your trips and your lifestyle, you're going to have to do some things. How many people who don't know how to do certain things? And for me, I ain't gonna lie, man, I get upset nowadays because how much does it cost to change the oil in the car? That's ridiculous. It used to be $19.99. Now it's up to $100 depending on the type of car you got, right? Oh, what if you could save somebody that don't seem like much, but it adds up? You know what I'm saying? The things that people could do now for other people, they're going to be more and more invaluable to the point where people are willing to make concessions because of it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. What if somebody can make a garden? They'll be like, hey, I need you over here making this garden. My dog misses me. I don't know why. I'm sick. He knows that, but whatever. Hold on. Sorry about that, but my dog ain't playing. But all those things come together now, because now when we talk about the community and black people and black wealth and the black family, and pretty much the family is broke. It's broken and it's broke at the same time. And I would say probably the most financially, probably the people who got the best finances are people who are together. If people came to the table and said, look, this is what I make, this is what you make, we together, we're gonna do it like this, and this, that's probably the best situation. Because I think single people, for the most part, are treading water. And people who were married were doing great, and then they got divorced and they started treading water and they missed being married. Or they was in a relationship and they missed the benefits of it. So now you're seeing people like, you know what? If I get a piece of what I had financially from that situation, I'll work with it. So to me, it's gonna get interesting, man. Because I think that at the end of the day, it's gonna be less about the sex and more about the money. Because it's hard. It's very much so hard to maintain a lifestyle, because the cost of living keeps going up and up and up and up to the point where people can't afford it. And it's becoming, you see more and more people having breakdowns. All this, all the scamming and hustling and trying to get over is coming to an end, because it's like, you're running out of scams, because technology is so that you can't do the things that you used to do. Drug dealers can't deal drugs and make money like they used to. These scam artists want to do these cards and all that. They're them chips that they're using in those little tap things. The more they implement those, the less you're gonna be able to scam like that. It's hard to steal people's cars. You got to straight out carjack them, and they ain't gonna be out like that. You're gonna see people. People ain't going out like 11, 10 at night. 10, 11, 12 at night just to go to the gas station to get robbed. They ain't doing that no more. You're not getting it anymore. All the other stuff, the criminal activity, is coming to an end. The nightlife itself, as far as just going to nightclubs, that ended really. So it's basically lounges and sports bars and restaurants, and the dates have really died down. People like quote unquote strip clubs, but the stripper culture, you need money for that. So it's like, you might have a few ladies eating, but they're trying to pivot into real estate or something else, because they know that's dying. So what do people really need? Stability. They need stability. And basically, you can't get ahead if you can't be stable. Everybody want to try to, skip a step. I'm gonna just go from nothing to lots. I'm gonna go from poverty to millionaire. That don't happen. Okay. Well, I sound like I got the flu, but whatever. You feel me? But that's what it is. So ultimately, man, a lot of this stuff is going in a different direction. A lot of times people, it is what it is. People say, if you've been out enough, you notice more and more that people have less and less. They have less and less leeway to mess up, because it costs too much. It really costs too much. Like, when the car insurance went up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. And that's what I alluded to earlier when BGS was talking about that. The car insurance going up for inflation. I don't know why. Health insurance. People need it. Dental. And thinking of those things at the same time. You got to pay for those things and your regular life. You're gonna need those things when you're younger. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to have an injury and have no medical insurance. You don't want to do that. You know, dental, you could, you know, it's $100 a year. Get your teeth cleaned as long as you're taking care of yourself. You know, every now and then you might need a wisdom tooth pulled or whatever, something like that. But for the most part, you're gonna need that medical. Yeah, exactly. You know, so what ends up happening is, at the end of the day, you're gonna see it evolve. You know, yeah. I mean, and what? And the reason I'm saying it now because really it's the holiday season, so there are gonna be a lot of people who don't, a lot of single adults who this is going to be a sad season because you don't have anybody. Thanksgiving dinner is kind of, you know, you still moving like a college student. Christmas, you still moving like a college student. New Year's, you might get tired of doing the New Year's. I'm gonna go out and or even doing a church thing. You get tired of it. So you're gonna have people like, man, I want to do something different, do something new, and I don't want to be in this position over and over and over again. Because you wind up having people perpetually in the same situation over and over again. But now, because of the financial situation, you have to think, you're gonna have people thinking about a different option, a different outlook. And excuse me. And what's gonna wind up happening is, you know, from a female point of view, it's gonna be a different outlook. You know what I'm saying? I thought you said I sound like I don't believe this, man. No, it's not gonna be taking care of a village. I said this is not really for young people in the beginning. This is people who are probably late 30s and up. Young people, nah. It's gonna be for the men and women whose kids are either grown or they're almost grown. You know, so that's the issue. Like the young folks, y'all gonna still be young, man. Y'all gonna still do y'all because y'all are, you know, it don't y'all. Some of y'all still living with your parents, and y'all can still live off your parents and whatnot. But it's the people who can't go back to living off of anybody. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna push forward into that, you know, because I've seen so many years how people, oh well, do your thing. Oh man, Lord have mercy. So it's your income, their income, and two child support incomes, 2 or more child support income. Well, salute, I guess, but appreciate you saying that. You know. Okay, you act like it's a diss. I'm just talking about it, man. I see you getting reckless with your mouth. I knock your teeth out though, but you know, in front of your 2 single mothers. Even if I got the flu, you need to chill out, man. Damn, all that bitch attitude need to chill out, man. It ain't impressive to me. That's not impressive to me at all. Hey, do it, Grinch. You know. What's up, Tony? But that's the thing, like, it's gonna happen more and more and more. You know, because at the end of the day, like, you gotta, you know, people don't realize the cost of living, you know, or inflation. There are fallouts from the cost of living and inflation. There are fallouts from that, like things that people don't think about. There are things that people don't, you know, oh, people wouldn't do this and people wouldn't do that. It's not true. It's not true, because if you squeeze somebody enough, they'll make a practical decision that may be against the norm. But it's a practical decision nonetheless, you know. But, you know, oh, shoot. But let me get out of here. My dog is going ham right now. And so I'm going to get this little pup. I'm gonna take some medicine and take my sick ass to bed in a few. I appreciate y'all, man. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
It looks like a job for Superman.
You know what? You do this, so.
Speaking from the lips of the young
That's
or
some
the
serious.
old, fear of me.
Yeah. Gotta put it all in.
And they are Superman.
All the way. I guess I'm taking off the cake through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took a break, me I ain't coming back. I got one life to live, if you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me, plus when I'm drunk, I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the king of neon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed on. For eons, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you still follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leave a building in a single bound, but I can't stand fair weather friends, and I just fly around. My super friends in Justice League, only folk I kick it with. Kill Lex Luthor, so what, we had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps. And me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke, then again it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite, life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I finished it. Lois, come holler at me. I got an ice couch. Thank you. Coming out, listen. I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly.